Welcome to Confessions of a Stenographer, where we are focusing on all things steno and the legal profession. Thanks for tuning in. I am your co-host, Jessica Shines. I am a recent graduate of McCormick College in Chicago and a current RPR candidate. I also serve on two NCRA committees, the Student Teacher Committee, and as a brand ambassador. I'm lucky enough to have recently won the Student Intern Scholarship from the NCRF, which is the angel arm of NCRA. But mostly, I am a student who likes talking to other reporters and hearing their stories. And today I'll be interviewing the lovely Sabrina Lewis. This month, we are celebrating Black History Month, and it's important to showcase our legends in this profession. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sabrina Lewis. Hi, Sabrina. Are you ready to confess?
I am ready, Jessica. Yes.
All right. So, first of all, who is Sabrina Lewis? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. I am a stenographic court reporter, and I work at the United States District Court in Birmingham, Alabama.
How and when did you get into stenography, Sabrina? Did you have a dream job or a career choice before you discovered steno?
I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and my parents stressed the importance of getting an education. I was fortunate in that I attended Dunbar Vocational High School. At Dunbar, we had every resource available to us to go right into the job market after graduation or go on to college if we so desired. My father's idea was for me to attend Northwestern University, graduate, and pursue a journalism career. I wasn't sure about all that. My counselor at high school said, well, if not a newspaper reporter, what about a court reporter? It was as simple as that.
You're so lucky. Oh,
go ahead.
You are so lucky that you have your family and people looking out for you and helping to guide you. Did you want to add something else to that question, Sabrina?
No, I was just thinking after I researched court reporting schools, I enrolled in McCormick Junior College in Chicago. And on
That's
the first
school.
day, yes, it is. Yes, it is. On the first day of theory class, the teacher told us to look around the room. By the end of the program, she said, half of you won't be here. And she was right. But when she said that, I was determined right then and there that I would be there. I would finish.
Okay, what certifications do you have, and what was your schooling and testing like back at that time?
Illinois requires a court reporter to be licensed, and our licensing exam consists of a written test and a 3-part skills test. 225 words a minute Q&A, 200 words a minute jury charge, and 180 words a minute literary. There was also a written test, and we were required to pass each 5-minute skills test with 95% accuracy. At that time, the testing was done with live dictation. We would show up at the testing site, which was at one of the local court reporting schools. Each testing room held about 30 to 50 desks, which had 30 to 50 typewriters. We would choose a seat at a desk that looked like it had a decent typewriter and then set up for the test. We were allowed time to practice utilizing our own earphones and cassette tapes. When it was time for the test, we had to make sure we had a new pad of steno paper in our manual machines. God forbid we failed the test because we ran out of paper. The test material was 5 minutes in length. As I said, 95% accuracy was required to pass. We typed up our tests from our Steno notes. And if we were not going to transcribe, we had to place our notes into the not transcribed envelope, which the test administrators retained. We were allowed to use reference books such as Merriam-Webster, Black's Law, or Tabor's medical dictionaries, for example. I believe we were required to wait 4 to 6 weeks to learn whether we passed.
After school and certification, did you decide to go into freelancing or to become an official?
Well, after school, I decided to take whatever job I could get. While at McCormick, the program director would recommend we students to various firms. She would place you in where she thought you would fit. It happens that I was one of the top students in the class, so I and another classmate were referred for an interview to XYZ Reporting. It was one of the top firms in the city. I thought my interview with the partners went well until they learned that I had recently gotten married. They weren't keen on hiring a married reporter, they said, because they thought I would probably leave and, start a family. I could feel the interview going downhill. The next week in class, the classmate who had gone on an interview with XYZ came and told us that she had been hired. I called the firm and the owners told me that they had decided they were only going to take one from our class that year, which was fine. I accepted that. But then the following week, another classmate whom we didn't even know had interviewed with XYZ waltzed into class and announced that she too had been hired by XYZ. What I remember about that day is that the classroom got really quiet and everybody turned around to look at me. By then, all the jobs with the best agencies, the biggest agencies, were gone. I had no choice but to take the Yellow Pages phone book and hit the pavement. I visited every agency downtown. At this time, I was forced to agree to take a job with a reporter who was elderly. She didn't really need anybody, but she said that I could come and transcribe her notes for her. That was the best she could do. Thankfully, a day or two afterwards, I got a call from another small agency, Nationwide Reporting, owned by Ernesto Espiritu. I went to work for Nationwide and stayed there a year and got the best education any beginning reporter could hope to get. I wound up staying at Nationwide for a year and heard about a state court officialship. I was looking for a job with benefits and more stability because I was interested in starting a family. So I took the state court officialship. I was hired and went to work in the domestic relations division. I stayed in that assignment for 5 years before transferring to the law and chancery divisions. And that's where I really learned how to write. In the law and chancery division, all types of civil cases were heard. Some days there would be 80 motions on the morning call alone. The clerk would call the cases and lawyers would walk up to the bench talking as they came. They didn't identify themselves or who they represented. And if you didn't learn how to take control of a courtroom quickly, you were in trouble. 25 years and 4 children later, my husband and I were looking for a slower pace and warmer weather. And so we relocated to Alabama.
Thank you. Wow, times have certainly changed since then.
They have. You asked me about my certifications.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am licensed in Illinois and in Alabama. And in addition, I hold the following national certifications issued by the National Court Reporters Association, NCRA. I am a registered diplomate reporter and a certified real-time reporter. And when I was in school, we were encouraged to not just stop with our state license, but to go on and get national certifications.
For those who might be interested in following you to federal court, what are the different steps for that?
For a federal court officialship, you have to be a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident. An FBI background check is required. You must be real-time proficient with at least 4 years of what they call prime court reporting experience. You must be at least an RPR, which is a registered professional reporter, and you must have your certified real-time reporter certification. And this is where the certifications become very important, because depending on the area of the country you live in, the starting salary is approximately $14,000 higher for a reporter holding the National Merit and Real-Time certifications.
We're now celebrating Black History Month. Why is it important to celebrate Black history to you?
Because Black history is world history. In the US, President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976. Black History Month was a call for the public to honor the often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans throughout our history. Since then, Black History Month has spread beyond the shores of America. It is also celebrated in Canada, Ireland, the Netherlands, and the UK. For me, Black History Month is a time of education, reflection, and action. Education, because we should always be about the business of educating ourselves. Reflection, to remember our friends, recent family, and ancestors who did not enjoy the opportunities we have. And action, because we stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before. How can we not be great?
Speaking of Black history, we recently lost a great icon, Miss Cicely Tyson. Do you have any memories or favorite movies that you will always remember her by?
Well, I was about 12 years old when Cicely Tyson first came to my attention in the movie Sounder. In the film, she played the wife of a sharecropper who is responsible for her family's survival when her husband goes to prison. Now, Miss Cicely Tyson always portrayed strong women. I knew she didn't do a lot of movies, but I did not know then that Cicely Tyson would go without work because she refused to take stereotypical roles. She had a 7 decades long career, yet she only has 94 movie and TV credits. She insisted that African Americans should be portrayed with dignity. Shonda Rhimes, who is a force in her own right when it comes to breaking barriers, described Cicely Tyson as that rarest of souls, that one spark of light who not only fulfills her dreams, but also fulfills the dreams of generations to follow. That courageous warrior who creates more, demands more, and makes more out of a dream than anyone before ever dared to imagine possible. Miss Cicely Tyson is a dream fulfilled. Now, Jessica, when we finish our program today, I invite you to go online and visit The History Makers. It's the nation's largest African American video oral history collection. The goal of the history makers is to educate the world on the accomplishments of African Americans through video oral history interviews. It is a virtual treasure trove of information with articles, interviews, and photographs. You'll find it at www.thehistorymakers.org.
Thank you. I will definitely go check that out. I know that a lot of reporters love oral history, and it might be something good to practice too as well. So thank you, Ms. Sabrina. Okay, let's talk about getting involved. Do you serve on any committees on the states or national level?
I do. I have served on the Alabama Board of Court Reporting, that's Alabama's Court Reporting Licensing Board, in various roles, including chairman. And I am currently the vice president of the Alabama Court Reporters Association, ACRA.
Why is it important to serve on a state or national level?
First of all, it's important to be a member of your state and national associations. And actively serving provides an additional opportunity to grow professionally and personally and to help others. For most of my career, I was a member of the state and national associations, but I was not involved. I was kind of forced into action, and I have been active ever since. If there is legislation affecting court reporters, you don't want someone deciding your future without your voice being heard. That's where the association comes in, and the association cannot exist without its members.
Do you enjoy attending the state and national conventions? And if so, what are the benefits of attending those?
Yes, when you attend convention, you get to meet court reporters from all over your state, as well as all over the world in the case of the national convention. It's great for reconnecting with old friends and colleagues. You get to see the latest tech gadgets firsthand, get the latest news on software updates, and sometimes there are really good discounts that are only available to convention attendees.
You also participate in the National Speed and Real-Time Contest. What's that like? Can you give us a breakdown of these contests?
I have competed twice. The first time was after I had had a 6-week criminal trial, real time, with daily rough drafts. I thought I was writing so well, this would be a great time to get into the speed contest. Being in the same room with the bright lights of court reporting was amazing. Everyone was friendly and congratulated me on entering. The way NCRA set up is we meet the day before the contest, and NCRA will have a practice area set up for us. Afterwards, we had dinner together, and the camaraderie was absolutely fantastic. Now, the speed contest is broken down into literary at 220 words a minute, legal opinion at 230 words a minute, and testimony, 280 words a minute. The real-time competition is 2 5-minute dictations. One is straight matter at 200 words a minute, and then there's 2 voice testimony at 225 words a minute. I would encourage everyone to enter at least once. I came back home rejuvenated and could not wait to go back the next year. The speeds are fast, and some of the subject matter was tricky. My advice is to prepare properly and don't let nerves get the best of you. I am in awe of the reporters who qualified, placed, entered, and the ones who won.
As a veteran reporter, do you still practice?
I do. I have a group of about 12 students and new reporters who I mentor. I have a word of the day that I send them occasionally. If I come across a word that I don't know, I will email it to them, and they're responsible for finding out what the meaning is. In addition, I like to practice from book work. I'll take an article in a book or a magazine and practice it and write it faster and faster until I get it perfect. I'm always thinking of ways to write smarter and faster, and I encourage the students and new professionals that I mentor to do the same.
And now it's time for Steno news that you can use.
Hi, and now it's time for Steno news that you can use. This is John Dripps, NCRA's Vice President of Finance and Human Resources, here with your latest association news. I hope you are getting ready for Court Reporting and Captioning Week. This year's event is February 6th through 13th, and the theme is All You Need Is Love and Steno. This is the week to spread the word about the great opportunities available in court reporting, captioning, and legal videography. Check out the NCRA website, where you will find a resources page that is now available with a number of updated items to use during the week-long event. There are sample proclamations, press releases, social media posts, flyers, brochures, and more. And make sure you are following NCRA on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram so you can share our special Court Reporting and Captioning Week posts each day. You can also send information and photos to pr@ncra.org. Remember, if you or your state association secures an official proclamation marking the week, submit it to NCRA, and you could win a 2021 Conference and Expo registration. Online skills test registrations opens February 1st. Register between February 1st and February 20th to test from March 1st through 20th for your RSR, RPR, RMR, CRR, or CRC. In other testing news, we want to be sure everyone knows about the exam retention policy. As we mentioned in May of 2018, all pre-existing test histories, any earned prior to October 1, 2018, will have an expiration date of November 1st, 2021. Beginning with the start of the exam retention policy on October 1, 2018, any person passing a required education component or a skills or written knowledge test has an expiration of 3 years from the date of the official pass. Don't miss this deadline. Complete all the components to earn your certification before you lose them. February 1st also marks the start of nominations and applications for several recognition awards and student scholarships. These include CASE scholarships, NCR A to Z scholarships, CASE Award of Excellence, Fellow of the Academy of Professional Reporters, and NCRA's Distinguished Service Award. The deadline for the Milton H. Wright Memorial Scholarship has been extended to March 1. Find all the information on the NCRA website. And finally, NCRA has been made aware that several companies are emailing and or calling NCRA event attendees and falsely claiming to have important information about NCRA events. Many of these come-ons ask people to call an 800 number. These companies have no affiliation with NCRA. Please be aware of these housing reservation solicitors. Use the official NCRA sanctioned hotel link, which you can access through the NCRA website. NCRA does not solicit attendees for housing reservations. Please do not be baited by anyone who does. And that's your Steno news that you can use.
Are you proud of this profession, Sabrina? Are you proud of the new professionals that are now leading and adding value to our profession?
Court reporting is not what I do, it is what I am. I am very proud of the court reporting profession. We keep reinventing ourselves in order to do bigger and better things. In this day of deep fakes, I believe that a live court reporter is absolutely the best method of capturing the spoken record. The reporters entering the profession are faster writers than we were starting out. They're tech savvy. If they can go to work with a good firm or get paired up with a strong mentor, there's nothing that they can't accomplish.
Absolutely. What message do you have for the students?
Well, court reporting, as I say, is a wonderful profession. It is fulfilling most of the time. It can be lucrative, but you don't get something for nothing. The job can get stressful. To make it in this business takes dedication, discipline, and commitment. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. If you're in it just for the money and glamour, you might want to reconsider. I suggest you read everything you can. When you encounter a word or phrase that you are unfamiliar with, stop right then and look it up. We can't know everything, but you do need to know a lot, and you will. Words are the tools of our trade. Make them your best friends. Once you start working, if you are not succeeding where you are, go somewhere else. This career can take you anywhere in the world. And this is regardless of age, race, gender, religion, or national origin. Another thing, I can say I have never heard anyone complain about somebody being too kind to them, too patient, or too inclusive. Treat everyone with respect. Now, in this business, you will come into contact with all sorts of people, and you're not going to like all of them, but you must respect them. There's a saying, treat people the way you want to be treated. I say treat people better than you want to be treated. That way you can't go wrong.
Amen. What message do you have for your fellow colleagues?
If you're not certified, get certified. And then once you get certified, maintain your certifications. Keep your hardware and software up to date. When the big jobs come your way, and they will, you don't want to have to start scrambling to buy equipment or update to the latest software version. Now, this job, as you know, can be tough. Physically, we put wear and tear on our bodies that would make an athlete cringe. Mentally and spiritually, our profession can be isolating. Meeting deadlines can be taxing. Now, we have a front row seat to history unfolding, and that's exciting. But we often see people when they're at their worst. Some things you just can't unhear. NCRA President Christine Phipps explains it well. She says, the work we do and the services we provide can be taxing physically and mentally. And while many of us rely on hitting the gym or other activities to keep us physically sound, many of us fail to consider what stress can do to us on the mental level. Now, that's why NCRA wants to make sure members and reporters have the resources to help them be successful, both professionally and personally. Go to ncra.org and click the Mental Health Resources tab at the top of the page.
I'm just over here snapping my fingers. This is such good advice. Thank you. What would you say makes a good reporter?
I found that the average court reporter I know is someone who takes pride in their work product, someone who is a perfectionist, and someone who doesn't mind working hard until the job is done, but also enjoys relaxing, reading, or a favorite hobby afterwards.
Okay. And wrapping up, reflecting back over your entire career, do you have any favorite memories you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I've done a lot and seen a lot, done a lot of different types of work. But in 2019, Janet Smith, a fellow ACRA board member, and I traveled to Washington, D.C. to attend the NCRA Leadership and Legislative Boot Camp. We received training and successfully lobbied congressmen and their staffs for the reauthorization of the Training for Real-Time Writers grant program, which is part of the Higher Education Act. Getting to see our government at work while interacting with over 80 of my colleagues from across the country was one of the highlights of my career. Also, I'd like to share a few lines from a poem I found somewhere on the internet some years ago. I do not know who the author is, but when I read this poem, it reminded me of what we as court reporters do. Because you will see the invisible, you will do the impossible. Because you will touch the intangible, you will achieve the incredible. Because you will hear the inaudible, you will have the unimaginable. Your success is non-negotiable. In everything you do, you will succeed.
Thank you, Sabrina. I would like to thank everyone that took the time to check out this podcast. This podcast was designed to promote our profession and, as always, to add value to our community. Thank you, Shanice, for letting me co-host and speak with Sabrina. This was so much fun. Court Reporting Captioning Week is coming up, and I just want to encourage all the students out there, anyone who is thinking about starting school to become a reporter, and even veteran reporters who are pushing for that next level or new certification, that they can do it. Stay motivated and encouraged, and don't forget to encourage others. Thank you.